sigh of relief as 2SRL Season 8 is over. Sigh of relief as 2SRL Season 8 is over.
Hello and welcome to the Hungarian Grand Prix. Today we are in a wet qualifying and I'm joined by Shiv, who will be commentating for the first time here in T3. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Looking forward to this stream. It's Hungary. It's generally, I think, it's a good track to drive on. Not the greatest for racing, but we saw last season with Tier 3 that it's not always the case, as these guys really go tooth and nail with each other. So hopefully we'll see some exciting battling today, even though the track does not really allow it. But you know, anything can happen with Tier 3.
Yeah, I'd say so. Like the thing is with Hungary, it's very high tire wear track. It's very it's easy to drive when you think of the outline, but it's very difficult to maintain speed. You know, it's unintentionally like a Monaco open circuit is the best way I can really describe it. Especially with the wet. You know, we've seen some very interesting Hungarian GP, especially in the wet. You know, some first time winners. Hopefully, is a common theme for the Hungarian GP in real life. So hopefully we can see that here in Tier 3.
Yeah.
With the racing.
Yeah, for sure. And if it stays wet for the race, that's definitely gonna throw some curveballs in everybody's way, because it seems most people have been practicing other drives. I've been keeping up the chat a little bit, and people were saying they were getting 1:13s or something. So that should theoretically be the dry qualifying time, but here we are in the wet, and I can already hear the groans of about 10 drivers.
Yeah, probably the entire grid. I mean, you have to really have a special skill set to really maintain in the wet, because the wet is a whole different, like it sounds really like stupid when I say it, but the wet is a whole different ball game to when you're dry. You know, especially with a track that's not so easy to pass. It's going to be more than anything really chaotic, and you're going to be struggling to find that grip around the Hungaroring as well. Especially with the high tire wear, we could see definitely 2-3 pit stops to intermediate tires. However, if it is anything like a wet to dry qualifying, or wet to dry race, that is going to be ultra interesting, because then the driver is going to have to judge precisely when you should pit for dry tires at the moment. So it's going to be a very interesting race. You know, the wet weather, the high tire wear, and the caliber of driver all make three factors for a hell of a race.
Yeah, exactly what you said. I couldn't have said it better myself. Yesterday, I always do this in all my streams. ACC is the other league we run here to SRL, and yesterday we had a dry to wet race at Imola, and like there's the transition of having to dry on slick tires or soft tires or whatever, slick tires, to nurse the car home to try and get wet tires on, because it was basically dry and then next second it was really wet. So that transition was very difficult already, and some drivers really struggled and some people mastered it. And I remember talking to one of the drivers after the race. He said that he had never driven in the rain before, and I saw that because he was top 5 before the rain hit, and he ended 14th because he's just struggling so much. So it really is a different skill set. No worries.
I actually saw that race. I remember seeing the two. It was the two Porsches battling, something like that. Yeah, it was really interesting at Imola. Was it? Yeah. I was seeing that yesterday, as well. They obviously had the big support for my friends over here. I used to race here. That didn't go too well for the last couple of times, you know. But now I do calm, so hopefully I'm a better commentator than I am a racing driver. But regardless, that is one big thing, especially here around the Hungaroring. We do see it start off wet, like we saw with even last year's Hungarian Grand Prix, and they have to really judge the conditions to perfection, because what can happen is, even though it might be time for slicks, there's no grip on track, and the intermediates are actually still faster, even though there's no spray and DRS is enabled, because there's such a lack of grip. So we're going to see what happens. Obviously, we can't predict the weather at the moment. It is looking to be drying up, but I do think it's going to remain quite wet for this qualifying session at the moment. So we'll see what happens in the race. And as well as one quite interesting thing, if the race is dry, everyone who's on the intermediate tire, if it doesn't get dry, gets a free choice of tire.
Yeah.
Right? So that's gonna mix things up. So you could have the front runners who didn't use a set of mediums go onto the mediums, or the hard tire, or the soft tire, something like that. So I think what this all amounts to is my throat's gonna get very sore, and you're gonna have to flip a lot of the camera. It's gonna be very chaotic, and I cannot wait to do it.
I mean, we've already seen a few spins. I think I saw Sonny turned around, facing the wrong direction, coming out of turn 1 already. So even just pushing in qualifying, they're having troubles. As Aceboy actually sets a personal P1 for now with a 26.2, having a good pace here. It's hard to follow who's doing what, because some people do 3-4 laps and some people only do 1 lap, and I can't really see who is where and stuff like that. But I don't see this drying out, so it's going to be definitely intermediates all the way to the end, I think, because it's still raining.
No, I completely agree with you. And here's an interesting thing, though, about wet qualifying. A lot of people, I've especially seen the Renault of BCR Blind do this. He's gone out for multiple runs. So typically, you would go out for maybe 1 run. You'd have enough, fuel to go for the out lap and then lap in your actual quali lap. But these guys have put enough fuel for 4 or 5 laps, is because they have to get their tires into the right operating window. So while you can do the singular, 1 lap, it is always good to do 2 or 3 laps in a row in order to get your tires warmed up. It's even better to have, I think, used tires in the wet is also an advantage, but you can correct me if I'm wrong, because usually when it's a wet in career mode, I hit the flashback button as soon as possible, Take a spin. Oh, never happened. What are you talking about? Never happened.
You can make a perfect lap that way with about 30 flashbacks. But
30 flashbacks.
Oh, as riding on board Frobson just shows you how easy it is to get it wrong, and he just gets a bit too much throttle, and around he goes into turn 1. So that's
yeah, that is
very unfortunate. I was riding on board with him when that happened, but hey, unlucky. Let's go to someone else, see what Ocean Chief's doing at the moment. But it's just to show you how difficult these conditions are. And I don't know about the... Sorry. I don't know about
good.
I don't know about the whole warm-up tires. For me, it was always just go out and feel the conditions and try and get faster in the conditions changing constantly. It wasn't so much about the tire wear, but I might have just been doing it for different reasons.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing, though. You have to be extremely gentle with your throttle here, especially in the wet. Because I was playing, I think, today career mode, and not at this track, but more so Spa, right? And even using the hint of the overtake or the hint of rich mix that isn't down the straight will send your car into a spin. It doesn't matter how much downforce you've got. You have to be uber careful with how you're driving in the wet, because one small mistake could mean that you've lost the front wing, your tires are flat spotted, you've lost a couple of positions, or you've spun around essentially. Yeah. And that's why I think a lot of these drivers do multiple runs, is because it's not worth it to go back into the pits and then fit a new set of intermediates. You actually want a scrubbed set, because that provides a little bit more grip.
I mean, I'm not sure, because I guess people in the chat can correct me and whatnot, because I'm not a professional racer.
I kind of just be like, what, qualifying? Yeah, I'll start at the back of the grid, thanks. Kind of thing. I would rather not, But yeah, you have to be extremely gentle with the throttle here, and especially around the Hungarian Grand Prix, where there's some very, very high speed, turns, and the main straights, especially before the braking zone into turn 1 and 2. Especially those downward spirals. Would that be the correct word? Is the main thing where you have to control your throttle. Because if you get it wrong there, it's instant. You're instantly turned over.
Yeah.
Speaking of
people who haven't got it wrong, we have Dom Anon. Sorry,
Dominon, yeah.
My bad.
Dominon. Okay, I got it right the first time.
Yeah.
In the Alpha Tower, setting a best time of 1:25.995. That's version P1 at the moment. I think times are going to speed up. I think it is getting slightly drier, even though there's still a bit of spray on the screen, but it is getting drier. I mean, it's not time for softs or anything like that. That's for sure. But
I mean, people are welcome to try, but I don't think it'll be very successful.
I like to see whoever's a daredevil, whoever's in last place has nothing to lose, kind of thing. I'd like to see.
Yeah. So it'll be quite interesting. I think it's getting drier, so the intermediates are really going into more of a grippier state. Even though there is still spray around, it's I mean, at least from my side, I feel like it's getting a bit drier. But I guess that's
Yeah, well,
I guess we can see what the times are doing. You know.
Yeah, but I feel like it's only natural. It gets dry because these tires, they do push a lot of water out the way, and you do see a dry line now. But it's still raining, so it's not exactly perfect. Well, it never is perfect conditions when it's raining, unless you love the rain. But I highly doubt anyone here does. You see Owen pulling over on the side here. I think he's actually run out of fuel, or okay, that's bizarre. I don't know what's going on here with him. Let's go for Kurz. So yeah, just people just doing their own thing, doing their own laps. And I think you saw earlier when we were on board with Ocean Chief how gentle he was on the throttle here as well with Kurz. He's really waiting until he's pointing straight to get on the throttle, and even then he doesn't stomp it. But yeah, Aceboy actually, as we were speaking, goes faster than Dominon. So Aceboy, Flindevinke and Dominon, all of them in the 25s. And then there's a 5-10 gap to Ocean Chief in P4.
Yeah, and that is like one of the big things though. Like you can gain a lot of time in the wet if you have that confidence in your car, you know. I remember I used this quote from Daniel Ricciardo when I was commentating once. You've got to trust the car, you know. You've got to trust the car to get on the throttle earlier, get on the brake later, you know. And the car, I guess, will trust you back, unless you know the car was like, nah, I'm good, thank you very much, you know, kind of thing. But I think that's what they're doing right now. You know, towards the end of the session, they are slowly trusting the weather conditions, are getting acclimatized to it. So, and as you mentioned, I think you mentioned that there was a dry line that was forming up. So now with this dry line, I think that times will get faster, you know, and we will see. I think the Alpha, the Renault, and the Alpha Tauri. So both two Alphas, well, spelled differently, of course, and with the Renault, yeah, because that confuses even, you know, Martin Brundle and David Croft and whatnot. Yeah, you know, but essentially both the Alfa Romeo and the Alpha Tauri and the Renault as well, and the Haas, if you really wanna, I guess, extend it, can shoot out for pole at the moment, and I think we're gonna see, you know, some very, very intense running as well. Also, with the fact that they're doing multiple runs at the same time, means that the fuel is getting lower. And I think their final run with the tires up to temperature and everything is going to make, you know, their runs just snap, especially with the low fuel dynamic as well. It's gonna do well.
Yeah, I'm already on board with Aceboy at the moment. He's already a 10th, well, not down, but he's a 10th up. Actually, it's the same thing. He's a 10th slower. That's the word I was looking for. He's a 10th slower in the first sector, but I saw him get a little bit sideways on the exit, so very treacherous conditions still. It's definitely not easy to drive in. And I remember Sonny saying this was going to be his first race without any assists. And I don't know if he's still sticking to that philosophy now, considering it's wet, but his times suggest maybe he is. Maybe he is trying to learn without any assists, and Aceboy is backed out of this lap, it seems, because he's gone quite a lot slower. Pindefinke also just coming out of the pits now, which suggests to me that there's still about 2 minutes left in qualifying. And spectator glitch is there again.
Yeah, I'd agree. So I think we see Blinde just passing a stranded Williams car, who was just there. Or I think, it was a stranded Racing Point, sorry. One of the big things is, though, with assist, and for me, I really started on controller when I started to league race as well. So I was using traction control, automatic gearbox. I wasn't using braking. I mean, I was initially using braking assist, because what I would do is I'm like, yes, flinging the car into corners is good tactic for speed, you know, kind of thing. But the main thing is that when you are, you know, doing assists, you kind of need to rip the band-aid off, like, all at once, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You need to get used to it. I have a friend, I'm not too sure if you know him, his name's Riggedy, you know. So essentially he was like, you need to rip the band-aid off. If you're gonna do one by one, you're gonna get comfortable. You need to be uncomfortable and then slowly find the comfort level. And even if they are, you know, in the wet, you know, they're spinning out, you know, this is how you learn, you know, through all of this, you know.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a message for drivers, including myself, to take off like assists and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
So guys,
I understand, you know, it's easier, but it's much more fun with assists off. Trust me. If you
Yeah.
spin out, in Bonotto. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Couple.
Call up the Ferrari
ahead.
team boss, because he'll be happy with your performance if you spin. Anyways,
Indeed.
so we have this ongoing joke in ACC as well. It's we have this one driver, Jack Mills, and I think every race he does something, and the commentators always goes, "Mills, no!" Because he always spins or something every race or drive through. And yesterday in the wet, he was spinning about 4, 5, 6 times or something. But that was just because he was getting used to. He didn't manage to get settled in the conditions. He wasn't trusting his car, as you mentioned earlier. You need to trust your car. And I think the Plindefinker right now looking actually really fast, and hopefully is able to try and challenge for that pole position.
Yeah, because pole position currently at the moment is a 125.4, and he has gone a tenth faster in the second sector. We're just riding on board with him now. We see that he is getting held up by the McLaren slipstream. Maybe not, it hasn't compromised his breaking point too much. The McLaren's got to get out of the way. He does get out of the way. How much did it hold him up? I'm not too sure. Maybe it's maybe a couple of milliseconds at the very least. Stamps on the throttle, goes towards the line at the moment, and it is only P2. He was 2/10 up on his time, but only 2/10 away from pole position. Dunhamon in the AlphaTauri has invalidated his lap, but we could see what could have been if he didn't invalidate his lap going through the final set of turns now onto the main straight. What is it going to be? It is 125.5, so that would have been P2 for him.
Yeah.
But he did go 4/10 faster. But I guess that's racing. That does give him, though, a newfound confidence in the fact that he does have the pace for P2, at least within the qualifying set, within the race pace. We'll see what happens. But we are just finishing our qualifying laps. I think everyone's either pitted or just finished their laps, and I think that is qualifying. So that's well, that's 7 minutes already gone. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I think that's the grid already laid down. So Aceboy, pole position. Congratulations to him. He won last time out in Silverstone, after Dominon had a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So yeah, he is back on top of the qualifying timing sheet, and Dominon showing he's got pace as well. It'll be interesting to see in the race who comes out on top, because top 3 very closely packed.
Especially if it's dry outside as well, because then that's going to be a hell of a choice with strategy. Obviously, Hungarian Grand Prix, extremely high tire wear. I think one of the most taxing for your tires in this in the entire calendar. So if people want to start on softs and go into the hards or go into the mediums, that is a big thing. But we will see if it's dry or not, of course, because that is also a big factor. If it is dry, then that's going to be great. If it isn't dry, and it's going to be chaotic as hell, but great as well, because everyone's going to be starting, I think, on fresh intermediates, or if it's really rainy, wet tires. So we'll see in about 2, 1, and 0 as we transition onto the race.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see if it's going to be wet or not. I have a feeling it's going to be dry, but we'll have to see.
Yeah.
I don't know if this loading menu has anything to go by, but that looks dry for me.
Yep,
But,
it does look dry as well.
But I'm not sure with
That's gonna
Codemasters.
be a choice of strategy. What do you think? If you were in one of these drivers' position, what would you choose as strategy?
Well, I'm not really the person to ask for that, because I haven't raced this game since I think Spa Tier 3 last season. But
wow.
I would definitely not go for the soft tire, as you were saying earlier, with the heavy tire graining. I think I would go for medium hards, if that's what you if that is the strat. I think I'm not sure.
I think medium hards are definitely a strat, and I think we're gonna see a lot more hard tires. I think it is currently dry at the moment, and everyone is going for their formation lap. And as mentioned, we have a very mixed grid in terms of tires. It's only 2 soft runners the entire 20 car field. The rest on mediums with 2 hard runners as well. So as I mentioned, a very interesting thing of strategy. However, the sky is looking a bit gloomy. We could see some pitter-patters of rain potentially, and that'll throw everything to disarray. However, I think the mediums would still, outlive the softs as well. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens, especially, seeing a person on the hard tire
in the beginning lap of the race, even when they didn't even qualify on that, is going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be a hell of a start because you have slower compounds as opposed to the softs, and I think the softs will probably have the advantage, to be honest, to start off with, and then the mediums will have the advantage later in the race. But we'll see what happens. Everyone's gonna nail their start in order to gain those positions, so we'll see what happens in a couple of corners time as we're rounding through the final corners, going through turns 10 and now 11, and then the infamous turn 12.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens in a bit.
Yeah, and I'm just noticing the soft and hard tire run is right behind each other. So Dominon going for the soft. I think he's going for an aggressive start to try and get P1. And Ocean Chief, P4 actually in quality. And Trevor Linden pointed out in chat, legend, he says, as Ocean Chief. I think that's a really good quality performance from him. But he's gone for the hard tires, and he usually always goes for the long game. So I am very interested to see how these strategies are going to work out. Most drivers on mediums, but I'll keep my eye on Dominon and Kurz as well.
Yeah, it'll be quite interesting. You don't want to keep an eye on the medium tires. You want to keep the people who aren't on the medium tires as well. So, you want to count us down, or shall I?
You can do it.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, we're going to probably have that Codemasters glitch, but we'll see.
That's a red. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. The lights are red, and now they're black. And the Codemasters glitch is there. Away we go for the start of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Acebo gets a good start. Blinder gets a good start. Dominon gets an okay start. Fropsy gets a wonderful start in the Williams. Owen gets a good start as well in the Alpha. It's a chaos down in turn 1. Everyone gets through smoothly. No spinning cars, no chaos, nothing. That is very clean. That is the cleanest turn 1 I've ever seen. Oh, as I say that, FTL Kerr is being pushed out wide by the Williams of Fropsy. Does get through safely at the moment, and it seems like the soft runner tires have had the advantage, or one of the most advantage. The hard runner tires have not, and the mediums are fine. So Dominon, I think, did not really use that soft to his advantage. He got an okay start. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. So I think that he didn't expect to be where the soft tires were, but I think we'll see that, especially when DRS opens. But I really hope that he doesn't lose much time behind the medium runners at the moment. But the medium runners have gotten away well, and there's no chaos ensuing. So very, very clean racing from all the drivers.
Yeah, I think generally seeing rain makes all the drivers just take a step back a little bit. And now we see a little bit of battling in the background there in the stream. But Kurz, brilliant start, all the way from P7, I believe, on the soft tire, just sending around the outside and inside, and manages to get himself all the way up to P4. Ocean Chief, on the other hand, struggling on that hard tire to start with. So they've just swapped positions, basically.
Potentially, yeah, and that's like one of the big things, though. He is playing the long game, but the main issue is, especially with the Hungarian and how quick it is, you want to be in people's pit stop box window. Is it going to be that the hards go for a while till the end and he pits onto the soft tires, and is he going to make up time on the soft or medium tires when he pits onto them? It's going to be very interesting. What is this safety car? Is he going to gain the positions and then subsequently lose them? I think the hards must have been the wrong tire choice at the start, but we'll see what happens.
Sorry, in the background, Alexander and Skorto, I think both going off track there. Don't really know what happened, but and I think Skorto spun it. Yeah, he's spun on the rejoin, so that's very unfortunate there. I think that's our first. Actually, there's a Williams involved as Shaka as well. Don't know what's happening there, but yeah, I think that's our first incident of the race. Don't have a replay function, but that was quite curious on what happened there.
Yeah, I saw that. The Williams obviously lost his front wing, so he's going to be having to go back to the pits now. Really detrimental on strategy, because obviously the hard tires were supposed to go to the end, and here he is on lap 3. Just vibing out. I said, not really vibing out, but he's going back to the pits and just trying to salvage this race for what could have been.
Yeah.
Maybe a change of strategy will help him get back into the pack, but also the McLaren involved in the fight is still going on. I don't think the wing damage is massive, or either that or he wants to just make up the time that he can. But everyone's on medium tires at the moment, so would he have benefit for pitting? I don't think so, and he would have been out of everyone's pit stop window. But
That's a little bit of a warning for drivers to keep it clean. I think what was supposed to happen on lap 1 is now happening here on lap 3, as there's a penalty for Kurz, a 3-second time penalty. I think trying to catch up to Dominon in the Alpha Tauri, the Racing Point, really, really desperate to get that podium position. I think a little bit too desperate, and the FIA have awarded him a time penalty. Dominon going wide, though, I think feeling under the pressure and getting a little bit impatient, as opposed to a Blinda, because remember, these softs aren't going to last very long. You know, these softs are maybe going to last 3, 4, 5 laps, and then that's it. But we'll see what happens as we're going on board with Dominon at the moment. DRS enabled. Blinda is getting DRS on Ace Boy. Ace Boy is out front. He's chilling like a villain. But Dominon is not getting the intended effect from the soft. However, Blinda is very much under pressure, and Kurz is putting Dominon under pressure as well. So I think that, honestly, the driver to watch here, even though he has a 3-second time penalty, is Kurz in the Racing Point. What an impressive performance from him, you know, battling in the top 4 at the moment.
Yeah, he's definitely showing himself all over the mirrors of Dominon, as Dominon actually goes really wide there, so I think he's already starting to feel the pressure a little bit. Someone's off, and that's a safety car.
It's a safety car.
Fropsy's out.
Fropsy in the Williams must have had a hell of a shunt. Yep.
We'll have to see what happens here. We're gonna get past him soon. Alright, let me go. Yeah, okay, I can't see him. I'm trying to find him on track. What's happened? Alright, let's see when Julius is on board. I think he's just gone off into the barrier. Yeah, you see him there on the right. That's quite a bizarre place, actually. Maybe just lost it under braking, or hit the curb too hard and then spun into the barrier. But Fropsy...
It's like one of the big things, though. So no, go ahead. This is my bad. You were saying?
No, I was finishing up my sentence, but yeah, I think probably just hit the curb and then into the barrier he goes. Quite unfortunate, but yeah, safety car, so that's gonna help Shaka out. Shaka on soft tires, though. Interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna help him out to close up to the gap and get some points. But crucially, the soft runners now, Dominon and Kurz, who need to pit for those for those medium or hard tires, are going to also pit. So you see that Dominon goes onto the hard tires, Kurz follows him and also goes onto the hard tires as well. So I think the soft runners, if anything, have benefited more than that. Obviously not Shaka in last place at the moment. Julius, though,
has a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car.
that is not going to help the Mercedes
That
crew
is
whatsoever.
very unfortunate.
Indeed, it is, and I think commentating about Fropsy's crash, I think you know, he just lost the grip, and that is a very, very high-speed turn. You know, turns 3 and 4. If you're not careful with your braking point, you can miss your braking point and just
spin it in the wall. But really unfortunate. You know, the Williams team had some hope today, especially with Fropsy running in 7th place. But
that's racing, I guess. You know, that happens, and
yeah, you take it from the next race and move on.
Currently, at the moment, no one is pitting aside from the 2 soft runners at the moment. And those are the ones that benefited best. They've pitted onto the hard tires. So Dominon and Kurz currently running P8 and P9. Currently, I would say in a net P1 and 2, because if everyone has to pit in front of them in the next couple of laps, and if they can stay in the leader's pit stop window of 27 seconds or something like that, then they have effectively got the lead. So honestly, the soft choice of tire, though it may not have worked at the initial start, has now played into their favor very, very well.
Yeah, that's for sure. I was thinking that as well. They went for the risky strategy, high reward, high risk, and it seems like they've gotten the high reward part of it. And they just, both of them need to work together now to try and get, or stay within that pit window, as you mentioned, and then try and build a huge gap up front on all the tires to defend from the drivers behind them. As a few other people going to pits now. Bit of an odd time to go in, I think, and that's Mercedes of Julius and McLaren of Santia.
No, because Julius had a drive-through penalty.
Oh, of course.
And because he had to serve that first and then the pit stop. Maybe, you know, he just made a decision last minute as well. You know, especially like you can't just go initially. You can take your time and decide. You know, maybe this or that. You know, and
you will be starting at the back of the pack.
You know, the pack is clubbered up as well, so it's quite good at the moment. But yeah, you know, honestly, in terms of tire strategy, it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens, especially in the race. It's already, you know, lap 6 out of 35, and there's already been a full-fledged safety car.
Yeah.
Not because of a racing incident or anything, just mainly because of a Williams going off into the wall, which is quite unfortunate. But we see what happens. Tires have to be warmed up. Sky is a bit gloomy, so temperatures should be a little bit low at the moment. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how these tires do get warmed up, as I think we're going to be maybe 1 or 2 laps more behind the safety car, so they clear the rubble of the Williams, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be quite interesting to see. Oh no, never mind. Safety car is in this lap. Never mind. So we're going to see how Ace Boy is he going to back up the pack, because the clear air at Hungary is really, really good, right? It's like dirty air on any track is bad, but especially Hungary since it's so high speed. You gotta take that turn 12, or rather turn 13, one big swoop like Jensen button, warm up those tires, and make sure that no one passes him. He's gonna nail that restart to the T as we go on to the main straight. Engines are roaring, and we are green flag once again, and we're racing on lap 7 of this Hungarian
Sorry, we already have
Prix.
Owen challenging here in the background, next to Blindevinke, going down the inside of Blindevinke, having a great restart. Manages to make the move stick, but is he able to defend? Oh, what is this camera angle? Please, Codemasters. Okay. Manages to make the move stick, and we have a yellow flag as well. So Owen up to P2, and that is
Dominon. Dominon, the man who was in a net P1, is now 17th and pitted for the hard tire. Lost the front wing. I think it was a bit too aggressive, but that's also a Williams of Shaka, so his second incident of the race. Things cannot get worse for the Williams crew now, can they?
No, they
really unfortunate. But currently an Alfa Romeo 1-2. We haven't seen this since, I guess, for Formula One's inception back in 1950. Very good driving by Owen. I think now the teammates have got to not really hurt each other and have to be working together in tandem in order for them to secure this 1-2 at the moment. But currently the Renault of Blinde challenging them in third was caught napping on the restart and is now back, as Tilde in the other Renault gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, possibly track limits. We'll see what happens there, as Ocean Chief. Now this is interesting. Promoted up to P4 as a safety car. He's gonna go for the long game. Has a possibility of winning this race. Has been very good with tire choices here at Hungary, so we can see what happens. Sorry, you were saying.
No, it's alright. Yeah, I mean, Ocean Chief before us, yellow flag in sector 3. I think that's Domnon. Yeah, he's retired in the pit lane, so that is his race going from good to bad in one corner, losing all his front wing, and I assume he didn't want to drive anymore. And then yeah, Sonny as well. Just want to quickly point out he's P6 now somehow. I think he started outside the top 10. Somehow made his way up to P6.
He was P15. Yeah, P15 in the wet. So if he is driving with no assist, he is driving very, very well. I think he is very close to Kebab and Ocean Chief in the Ferrari. Ocean Chief obviously holding them both up due to the fact that he is on a slower compounded tire, and also the pace front-wise is not great, but obviously he's on the hard compounded tire, so we can't necessarily blame him for that. Kebab, though, is trying to challenge his other Ferrari-powered car at the moment, is looking to go down the inside, as DRS is enabled this lap, so we can probably see lots of overtakes being made at the moment, but hopefully lots of clean overtakes as well, as Flash driver in the other AlphaTauri on 2-lap all soft does come into pit. It's very strange at the AlphaTauri garage that I made. Have you swapped for one of Ferrari's strategies? Oh, and as I say that, I think we have a Racing Point who was off.
Spooner in turn 1 had a little bit of a spin there, and Julius as well getting disqualified. So that's the Mercedes of Julius for not serving his drive-through penalty in time. I wonder if that is because of... No, he probably... I think you have 3 laps to serve your drive-through, and he probably served 2 of those laps under safety car, or assumed it was cleared on the safety car, but you can't do that under a safety car, so he would have to do it on the lap basically after they start again, and he hasn't done that, so therefore he's been disqualified.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate, because Julius was doing not too bad of a race, but
Unfortunately, that does happen with motorsport. You can't serve your drive-through during safety car. You have to do it after and immediately after the lap. And I guess he didn't want to lose his track position, so he assumed that it was 3 laps after the green flag, but clearly not at this point. But that's quite unfortunate. But as we go racing again, I will stop saying but I promise. We have DRS going
down the inside. Sorry, down the inside goes Kurz, but he overshoots the corner a little bit, and there's 2 battles I'm trying to follow here. Gurla stays ahead of Kurz for now, and Kebab and Sonny both right on the rear end of Ocean Chief. Ocean Chief doing all he can to hold them up for now, and all he has to do is stay ahead into turn 2, and he basically has them covered until turn 1 again. So is the nature of Hungarian, but Kurz pushing very hard on Gurla with those hard tires, and Kebab and Sonny applying a lot of pressure to Ocean Chief as well at the moment.
The Ocean Chief is in a very bit of a predicament because he is going to be pressured to brake later, get him throttle earlier, and even though the grip is coming back and there's going to be some temperature, especially on those hard tires, he is, as you mentioned, only got to do 2 or 3 main maneuvers of defending before he is okay for the rest of the lap. He's got, it's, as I said, this is like the open circuit Monaco, because if you stay in the middle and not really differ from any other direction, if you don't leave a gap, if you don't run wide, then you are okay. But as you see, Ocean Chief is trying to use a lot of his ERS, use a lot of his fuel at the moment, but Kebab has this really handy dandy thing called medium tires and DRS. Is he going to be close to Ocean Chief on this occasion? Really, really close. He could have sent it down the inside, but he was extremely respectful in that regard. Is he going to be close down into turn 2 though? At the moment, not so much though. No, Ocean Chief is feeling pressured, but he is good for this lap unless he makes a major mistake.
Yeah, and while you were commenting that, I was just quickly watching Kurz get past Gurla, so he's up to P7 now. He did a beautiful overtake into turn 1 and then managed to hold off Gurla for turn 2. So Kurz up to P7 now, and he might be joining this fight for P4 soon.
Yeah, and obviously on the fresher hard tires, it's going to be quite the interesting thing to join that fight, and it's going to be quite good. However,
he does have the 3-second time penalty, so you do have to take that into account, and that's going to be
quite interesting to see what happens within that regard. However, Sony from Kebab, from Ocean Chief currently leading the pair, Kebab right up Ocean Chief's rear wing, and then Sony right above, at Kebab's rear wing as well, going down onto turn 1, using all of the ERS, all of the DRS. Kebab has got a very good exit at the moment and goes down side by side into turn 1. Does he do it on the Ferrari powered car? Ocean Chief pushes him wide, and he does not get DRS Ocean Chief, but Kebab does. Is he going to use go to the outside? No, he is an Ocean Chief. I think has got his last defense. It has to be lap 12 or 13 where Kebab finally decides to get past. He's got to save all of the ERS. He was, I think, a millimeters of a front wing ahead of Ocean Chief for a time, but he is losing so much time behind him as there's a yellow flag in Sector 2. I think someone's off in Sector 2, and that is what the
Scorto, yeah.
Scorto in the McLaren and on the medium compounded tires has had an off. Is that front wing damage? We're just going to look for the cameras right now. It doesn't appear to be, so I think he's just had a bit of a spin. Really unfortunate, but hopefully he does get the pace to challenge the pack again, as we are back on board with Kebab. Very close to Ocean Chief at the moment. Ocean Chief only has 15% ERS. He's got to get a very good exit, as we have a Haas. I think, yeah, a Haas spun around, and that is Danny in the fellow Haas fan, while his teammate Ocean Chief is in P4, defending from his life from the Ferrari. Which, is he going to go down the inside? No, he isn't. I don't think the Ferrari had a very good exit his last time, and nor are they going to have a very good exit here with DRS. His teammate Danny currently in P12 at the moment. Not too bad for the Haas team. However, that spin isn't going to help them a lot. But, yeah, I think the main battle now is Ocean Chief, is Kebab, and is the pit strategy at the moment.
Yeah, and there's oh no, that's Owen gone off. So Owen has hit the curb into, well, the death curb as it's known as on the game, and he's now he was in that battle. He was behind Ace Boy, and now he's right behind Ocean Chief, maybe with some damage or a tire wear or something. But that is not what he wanted to happen.
And obviously leading an Alfa Romeo 1-2, it's gotta really hurt. You know, I think must have been some dirty air from his teammates at the moment, or maybe something that had happened. But currently looking past on the cameras, looking through to the wide angle through turn 13, and looking now, it doesn't seem he hasn't gotten to pit in, so it doesn't seem like there is any damage. However, he must have flat spotted the tires, and tires must be burning. But a good recovery to get back on track and to still be in P4. So although it might have been a bit of a spin on the death curve, you know, being nearly sent into the shadow realm, as Super GT says, it's going to be a good recovery for him to just keep his head down and really keep his composure. And joining this battle at the moment, I think is gonna help him do that. It's gonna make it a little bit harder, but it's gonna help build that resilience, though.
Yeah, so as you were saying that, I think I missed it on the camera. Yeah, so Flash River has crashed.
Oh, that's a Alpha Tauri. Sorry to interrupt, but that is a one Alpha Tauri, and that is Flash Driver in the other Alpha Tauri, and it is not good for a lot of the teams here today at Hungary. One of the AlphaTauris, Donomon, is out, the other Williams is out, and the other Mercedes is out. And currently at the moment, is that damage on the AlphaTauri? It doesn't appear to be. I think that was just a spin, maybe some light damage, if anything, but definitely some flat spot tires. He's got to pit anyway. The fact that he is on very, very old soft tires, and even though they're 8 laps old, that is ancient. That is practically a puncture around this circuit, as Ace Boy and Blindevik at the moment, with the Alfa Romeo and the Renault going hand in hand at the moment. So both on equally matched tires and equally matched cars, and most likely equally matched setups and equally matched ERS. How far are they going to push each other to get that position? That's going to be the main thing. There is traffic up ahead in the form of Shaka with Williams, so that's going to really hurt Ace Boy if they catch up, and it's going to really help the Renault as well. So that's going to be quite interesting to see at the moment, as we're lap 15 out of 35 at this Hungarian Grand Prix.
Yeah, I was just thinking, if Ace Boy manages to catch up to that Williams on the straight, that's actually going to help him. But as you said, if he catches the dirty air in the wrong part of the circuit, then that can really hinder his abilities to stay ahead of Blindevik. But currently, bit of a DRS train from Ocean Chief all the way down to, I think, yeah, I'll say Kurz for now, but Henke also making his way up to that pack.
And it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens, as I think we're going to be running on board with the Renault. Renault gets a very good exit. So does Ace Boy at the moment, using DRS, using ERS. There is a yellow flag in sector 2 and 3, and that's Tilde in the other Renault in the middle of the track. That is not the place you want to go off, my friend. Not at all. You don't want to go off at all, but if you're going to go off, you want to go off in the middle of the track. Blindevik, though, in the other Renault, he's getting extremely close to Ace Boy. I'm talking about only a 2 or 3/10 gap at this point. If Ace Boy makes one mistake, goes a little bit wide, that is the Renault's position. That is the net lead P1. And that is the current P1, I think, that is going to happen for the Renault. But it's going to be Ace Boy who tries not to crumble under pressure.
Yeah, and Owen has gone into pits now, so he is the first of the, well, one of the first drivers to pits after, yeah, sorry, he's one of the first drivers to pit
after safety car restart.
After safety car restart, exactly. And he's come out right behind Santia, so that's actually, he has to clear Santia as quickly as possible in order to try and as I'm saying, he does.
Very done. Oh, very well done.
Okay, a little bit sliding exit there, wide. But yeah, I guess he moved on.
Yeah.
So
I guess we move on.
Yeah, he has Fear, and Ace Boy goes into the pits now. So the Alfa Romeos, they are communicating, and Ace Boy going to try the undercut now, while Blindevik is going to push as hard as he can now to try and overcut per se. And Kebab also in the pits, and who else? No, okay, so no one else goes into pits for now. Kurz right behind Sonny, and Ocean Chief into P2.
The undercut's going to be quite detrimental, because what's going to happen is that Blindevik has clean air and sets a purple sector 1. So he is really pushing on the set of medium tires at the moment. Is he going to go for the fastest lap? I don't personally think so. I think he's more so concerned with the race. Ooh, what's happened?
Sorry, I just saw Kurz trying to go up the inside in I believe that's turn 5 or turn 4, one of the two. I don't think that's where you should try and overtake, but he got a 3-second time penalty for it, so that's definitely going to hinder his results at the end of the race.
Yeah, he's really aggressive on that Red Bull of Sony at the moment. Sony on 16-lap old medium tires has to be coming into the pits, has to be thinking at least somewhat, but yeah, you don't really want to overtake anywhere at the Hungarian unless you've got balls of steel like Duke Nukem at the moment, you know. But as I say that, Blinda Vinca in the Renault, as soon as he gets out of clear air, sets the fastest lap. So I think the undercut has really not worked in this case at all. So as we say,
Ocean Chief on the hard compound tires, you know, we expected him to go, I think that at least a lap 2021 in this race,
has pitted
only a lap earlier, or rather a lap later than the medium runners at the moment, and is now onto the
fresh medium tires. So let's see if he has the pace to catch up to the pack. They're currently behind Red Bull of Sony, who's running in P3. So we're going to see what happens within this case.
Yeah, and I think yeah, so I think it's a bit premature to pit for the hard tires, but it's okay to go. I think the mediums will last to the end now. They will last about 17 laps, as we've seen with the other drivers. But yeah, I do believe he could have pushed that stint a bit further, but if he feels this is the right time to come in, then it works for him. And we're saying that Kebab and Owen have managed to undercut him, but Ocean Chief is only a second behind and on fresher tires.
Indeed, and I think Ocean Chief has really called the strategy to perfection. As actually, speaking of strategy, Blinda Vinca going long, trying the huge overcut at the moment. His tires must be dying at the moment, you know, must be on their last legs. I don't know if there is a Bono equivalent to Renault, maybe Slady. You know, he must be saying, Slady, my tires are absolutely finished at the moment. I think
it was because of Tild. Tild was
in the pit and is on fresher medium tires that he has stated he's got to push on this particular set of mediums, and is really extending that medium a lot longer than we all thought it would be. But you know, if he's gonna go onto the hard tires, is he gonna be able to utilize those hard tires? You know, is he gonna be able to really push for the 15 or so laps? Because if it was the hard to the medium, that would be reasonable, but it's the medium to the hard. So I think he is just trying to get you know, track position at the moment in the clear air. But who I think is the most advantage, who has the most advantage, is Ocean Chief. Has called the strategy to perfection. While everyone's on slower tires, he has played the long game, as you mentioned.
Oh no!
Ooh, going
as
wide.
Oh,
as I say that, commentators curse. Oh no! I saw that. I'm like, he's struggling to control his car, a little bit overconfident, and has flat spotted those medium tires. I thought he was in a great position for the race, and I think I've said them about every driver who thought was in a great position for the race. However, as soon as I say that, just commentators curse, and he just slides off. He's gonna have to pit. Maybe not, but that's definitely put him at a huge disadvantage. Oh, that's so unfortunate for Ocean Chief.
It's heartbreaking for Ocean Chief. He was in contention for some really good points here, and usually he's the Mr. P10 man, always getting points at the end of the race. But this time around, he was looking for a really solid finishing position, and that is kind of heartbreaking to see. And Blinda Vinca is still going on those 19-lap old medium tires.
What tire did he start off with? On those mediums as well, right?
Yeah.
He didn't do the softs, because if I was like, he can't possibly go to the end, right? Like that's not possible. You know, he's gonna get a puncture unless he's babying those tires. You know, he's nursing those tires to the end. And by nursing, I mean like stay in like 8th gear. You know, don't accelerate. No ERS, no DRS at all. But that's very odd for him to go for the extreme overcut. That's actually gonna give. He's still going. He's like Kimi Räikkönen. He's just never gonna stop. You know?
It's definitely quite amazing to see, actually. And Aceboy currently getting held up by Alexander, so this is all going wrong for Aceboy. I think there's about I can't really calculate that quickly. It's a yellow flag. That is
two yellow flag.
Gerla that has crashed.
Gerla.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. I think he's going to have to put onto the medium competitive tires. But we're seeing a lot of offs today at this circuit. A lot more peculiar.
Oh no! The Owen spins into the final corner, gets front wing damage, and that is his race essentially over as well. He was following the pack of Spooner and Kebab. I think gets a bit too much throttle and oversteers into the barrier.
And that's a disaster for the Alfa Romeo team. What once was a 1-2 finish is now barely points. I mean, they're decent points, not gonna lie, but especially with that front wing damage, it's gonna be quite hard. As another McLaren spins, and that's Santina again spins. Good for Ocean Chief though to get past Santina, but for everyone else, that's not going to be doing well. But Ocean Chief still has a chance of points at the moment. You know, I think Owen has got to go at least onto the softs to make one like big redemption drive, or onto the medium competitors, because that front wing damage is not going to do him any favors if he wants to fight for points. And there is a couple of laps. I think 13 laps is not a lot here at the Hungarian ring, but it's still you can score some decent points, especially with extremely fresh tires at the moment.
Yeah.
Blindevinke. Sorry, as I mentioned that the two Mercedes, Aceboy and SLR Snelle are currently battling. Aceboy up to third in the Alfa Romeo, so he's finally gotten past Alexander and is now chasing after Kurz on the much older stint of hard tires, and also crucially Blindevinke. So he's in contention to still win this race, because Blindevinke is either probably going to go onto the soft compound tires and see if he can gain that time. He does have the fastest lap of the race so far, and even did the fastest lap on those worn set of medium tires. But currently Aceboy, a net P1, fresh hard tires, is in a position to do what the Alfa Romeo of his teammate could not do and win this race, or at least do finish within the top 3 in the position. Blindevinke still going, still on those tires.
I think you're right about the strategy. I think he is pushing to try and go for the soft tires, because it's too late now to go for the hard tires, as there's only 12 laps left, and Aceboy definitely is going to catch him, because the pit stop does take longer than 17 seconds, which is the gap between Aceboy and Blindevinke at the moment.
Blindevinke needs one thing, and that's a safety car. That's all he needs at the moment, right? If he gets a safety car, that's his race win automatically there. But at the moment, I think
onto the soft tires, we've said the soft tires aren't great around here at the Hungaroring. However, there's another yellow flag, and that's the Williams of Shaka. He's off. And effectively, his race was already done, because I think he was a minute behind everyone, but still the resilience to keep going is a huge thing.
Yeah,
really, even though he's in the grass. You're saying?
No, it's fine. He does hit 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits. I think he's going to retire now. He seems to be limping around on the grass. He is definitely not happy with his performance today, and he exceeds another 10-second penalty. This is very unfortunate from... I think he's going to get disqualified if he continues this way.
Blindevinke finally in the Renault does come into the pits
at the moment. Is he going to go pit for the soft compound? If it was going to be the hard compound tire...
Oh, it is a soft.
That's going to be... Nope, it is the soft compound tire. So I was correct with the strategy. He is going to go pit on the soft compound tire, and it's new soft as well. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Is that going to help him quite a bit? No, not really. We're going to see Aceboy going down the main straight. Blindevinke has not got ahead of them. Currently in P3. You know what? He might have actually called this perfectly. New soft tires as opposed to the slowest compounded tire. It's running on very old tires and still a while to go. If he can nurse those tires like he did the mediums, he is in a position to win this race. I think, he's definitely in position to win this race, 100%.
No, he's already caught up about nearly a second now already on Aceboy within half a lap, and I think Blindevinke, all he needs to do now is just play the patient game, just preserve his tires as much as he can, and make his way past Aceboy as quickly as possible as well, get as much free as he can, and hopefully they don't puncture come the end of the race.
Yeah, because that's one of the big things, though. He can make his way past Ace Boy. He can make his way past Curse, but he's got to do it patiently. He can't afford a lockup, or he can't afford many lockups, right? Because as soon as it's lockup, boom, that goes his chance of the win exponentially. Like, even though he's caught up to Ace Boy, and he can even pass him without DRS, just using fuel and ERS, as he does do a DRS pass. That was simple. That was just class of the field moment. Just going now after Kurz. He's probably going to get the DRS on Kurz this time. Yes, he does. Wow. Just call the strategy to perfection at the moment. But the main thing is, after he gets past Kurz, which he inevitably will do unless Kurz does some amazing defending, and that defending could, in fact, be a little bit dirty now with the position he's in. Blindevicka has got to preserve those tires till the end. You know, he's got to finish on these set of tires 10 laps on the mediums. Normally, on the race start, it's not going to happen. 10 laps with 2 hard runners chasing on you, that's going to be a miracle.
Yeah, it's
a
a tough ask for sure, but I do think he could pull it off. We've seen Blindevicka do things before, and he's basically pushing Kurz through the corners now, and he's going to go up the inside, and I think that's an easy overtake. Fresher tires, better tires, and he's past Kurz already. Now he's just going to try and pull out a huge gap. I think it's going to be about a second faster per lap or something until those tires wear off. But I think he's got this in the bag now. He just needs to preserve his tires.
And we were all very, very confused on why isn't he pitting? Why isn't he pitting? You know, is he going to the hard tire? Nope. He went into the soft, timed it to perfection, and currently in the lead, the Renault. Man, he was struggling, I think, battling with Sony in second place, currently in the lead. Ace Boy is kicking himself most likely at the moment, and currently in third, as we have another Renault. Tilde is currently off at the moment, so that's really unfortunate. There's one side of the Renault garage that's cheering and is happy to be here, as another side of the Renault garage that doesn't really, just wants to finish this race at the moment. So very, very conflicted emotions at the moment, and we can see Blindevicka actually nearly gonna lap his teammate as well. So that's gonna be quite interesting to see. I don't know how that's gonna go at the Renault garage. Maybe Cyril Beatable is gonna, you know, do some say some not very nice words.
He's gonna get some tattoos. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, maybe get a full body tattoo of this happens at the moment, but we do see that Blindevicka is setting purple sectors, and why that is good. He's got to really preserve his tires. So if Ace Boy is just gonna stay with him, Kurz is just gonna stay with Blindevicka, because as soon as those tires go off, he's a sitting duck, and quite. I'm not saying duck because the fact that he's in a Renault and ducks are also yellow at the moment. I'm more so saying that because those tires will be done, and it's going to be a very tall order to try to pull them off. So currently at the moment, we've got I think 8 laps. Yeah, 8 laps to go in this Hungarian Grand Prix. 8 laps on new soft tires. He's going to be tall ask, and he's already on 2-lap all soft tires. So we're going to see what happens. Ooh, a bit of a spin, and he goes into the barrier. So his soft strategy did not work, and is now in the barrier. Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Oh no, Blindevicka. Oh no, so it was looking so set for a win, and he just spins on the death curb. It's caught out Owen, it's caught out other drivers, and now it catches up Blindevicka, and that is his chances ruined for sure. Ace Boy must be cheering in that cockpit, and I was actually running with Owen and Freshfield as he goes wide now. I think Blindevicka actually kicking himself in that cockpit. But I was running on board with Owen and Fresh River, and I was going to say Owen is trying to line up a pass soon, but then obviously Blindevicka, the leader, spins out, and it doesn't seem that he has any damage, but yeah, okay, he's going to continue for now, and he has all that work to do yet again.
Yeah, I mean, like, he could, if he's going to try to push now, that's going to hurt his tires. If he's going to nurse his tires, that's still going to hurt his tires. So I think Ace Boy, obviously with the Ferrari link, with the Alfa Romeo, might have called in some favors. I'm not sure, you know, kind of thing. But we'll see what happens, as Kurz and Ace Boy, now are the main contestants to win this race at the moment. So we see Kurz on much older hard tires. I think this is maybe just slipping away from him. Ace Boy has got to keep the pace. Is not going to go on the death curb, and it's just got to stay close to him. Kurz is using everything, using the curbs as well. As they say, sorry, I was waiting for the appropriate time to make that joke. He does have a 3-second time penalty though, extending track limits. So all Ace Boy's got to do is not even overtake him, just stay within 3 seconds of him.
I don't think this is over for Blinde Vinke yet, because he is gaining quite a bit already, and he's still got, we got 7 laps to go. Question is, will those tires be dead by the time he catches up to Ace Boy and tries to overtake? Also, Kurz has yet to do a pit stop.
Kurz is yet to no, he's not yet to pit. He's
did he? Oh yeah, he pitted under the safety car. Oops. Okay. Never mind. I forgot.
If it was,
there's a huge dive from Ace Boy there. Doesn't quite manage to get the car slowed down. Kurz. Can we get a good camera angle, please? Kurz. Okay. So Ace Boy managed to stay ahead. Kurz was trying around the outside, but Ace Boy gets ahead. And now Blinde Vinke only 2 seconds behind now, and is going to try. So Blinde Vinke basically has P2 confirmed with those time penalties, but is he able to get past Kurz and past Ace Boy now to get that P1 back?
It's gonna be quite the
tall order, because the main thing was when he was in front
was about looking after his tires, and now with 6 laps left, he's gonna still have to look after his tires, but he's also gonna want to push. He's angry at himself at the moment, so all he's gonna do is, if he wants to be safe, he wants to be on the podium, he stays where he is. He's just got a friend from Snelle in the Mercedes, right? But if he wants that P2,
he's got to stay within 3 seconds. He's got to not use his tires, but he's got to use his fuel, his ERS, his DRS. He's got to use everything under the sun other than tires, and he is locking up majorly at the moment, but very, very close to Kurz at the moment. So Kurz, I think, though he is in P2, though he's in a podium position, I think has involuntarily cocked himself, because he is on the oldest set of tires in the field at the moment, and actually no, the second oldest set of tires, because Alexander is now on the oldest set of tires at the moment. But we're gonna see what happens. 5 laps to go. Hopefully Blinde Vinke does catch Kurz before that operating window for the softs is over. Is he gonna catch Ace Boy? By the looks of his pace, he might. We might see this go down to the wire as Blinde Vinke and Kurz go side by side. Ooh, and they're off track at the moment.
Right in front of them is a spun Gerler. So they all make his way past Gerler. Yeah, they make his way past safely, but Blinde Vinke, 2 wheels off track there, showing how aggressive he is to try and get past Ace Boy. Also not really pulling a gap, he's struggling a little bit. Kurz catching up, so Blinde Vinke has 5 laps to pass them both. But will his tires be able to last so long, especially being the dirty air now, and he's had a few lockups already.
Well, we've seen that he's nursed the medium tires, and that's another lockup, as you mentioned, right? But we've seen that he's nursed the medium tires, and especially with the traffic ahead with the McLaren, I think of Santina ahead, that's going to be quite interesting for me, as he does get a very, very good exit, does get DRS, uses the ERS, uses the rich mix, uses everything in his power. Kurz is still pulling away though, has virtually no ERS, so Kurz and Blinde Vinke are in the same ERS. He's just got to keep within touching distance of Kurz. Ace Boy, he's just hoping that Ace Boy gets a penalty. If Ace Boy gets a penalty, then he has got that P1 in the bag. He's feeling the pressure, wants to get past them, has the intensity, has the anger in his driving style with the lockups, but he can't afford those. He's got to really be smart. He's got to be calculated with this. He wants that net P1. He is faster, than the cars in front of him. But we're gonna see.
As he goes up the inside.
As he does go the inside. No, he's very aggressive. He's
we're just talking about being
patient.
Yeah, sorry, we're talking about being patient, and that was not a patient move there. That's never really. Oh, it's actually Kurz gets a little bit slide and exit that might allow Ace Boy to make him. Sorry, Blinde Vinke to make a move into this. I don't think it's close enough. But yeah, that McLaren is.
No, maybe he looks down the inside though.
Blinde Vinke
those moves. He is desperate. He's like Lewis Hamilton at the the 2007 Brazilian Grand Prix desperate. He's Fernando Alonso 2010 desperate to get that podium position.
Yeah.
And the guy just wants P2, and he's not content with it to get it on with penalties. He wants to get it on track, and he wants the lead if he can, but that's slipping away from him bit by bit. He is driving very angrily. He has just got to save his ERS and his fuel, and he's gonna get a very good exit out of the last corner in order to take Kurz off of DRS range. But he's very, very close. I think he's losing a lot of time behind Kurz, because if Kurz wasn't there, if Kurz ran wide and repassed him, I think he would have already caught up to Ace Boy at the moment. But with 3 laps to go, anything can happen. We saw the leaders multiple times spin, drop out, get sentenced to death by the death curve. So we're gonna see what happens within this race at the moment, as we're on board with Blindevinke at the moment, just trying to get as close as possible through the final set of corners at the moment. It's going to be a tall order for him. Locks up here, locks up there. Kurz is not going to be happy on those old tires. I think he's nearly had those tires for the entire race. I don't even know how these cars are still on track and has not had multiple punctures at the moment.
I think here we go.
Currently we see Blindevinke go gaining side by side. Does go early, then late, then early, then late, and does make the pass on DRS, and now has only 2 laps to catch up to Ace Boy on those worn set of soft tires. Ace Boy has a 2.2 second lead, but that is dwindling away. That's a 10th gone already at the moment, but it's only a 10th so far, so we'll see what happens. Now 2 tenths gone. It's going to be a very exciting last couple of laps. Ace Boy has just got to keep it cool, clean, collected, has not going to get a penalty. If it gets a penalty, his race is over. He might as well just go pull the car in and retire. Well, not really. A podium position is still a podium position, but still, it's the softest compounded tire versus the hardest compounded tire. And now Blindevinke in clean air on the soft compounded tires with everything behind him has now got the opportunity to win this race once again. Well, what a redemption story it will be for the Renault team. Everyone's behind them. All the resources is behind them. And it's only 1.7 seconds from 2.2. Keep this in mind. 2.2 at the start of the lap. 1.8 now. Lap 34 of 35. He's got to use everything. Ace Boy has the advantage of ERS and track position and tires.
Yeah, and he's got 2 laps left. I think this might just be a bit too much for Blindevinke. He's lost too much time trying to attack Kurz, wasn't patient enough to make an overtake when he actually could make it, and doing these half attempted moves that just cost both of them time. Ace Boy, on the other hand, still 1.7 seconds ahead. I think Blindevinke's tires are also reaching their limits of what they can do now, so it's going to be very tight. He's still gaining, but we might see a last lap lunge.
Yeah, and that's even like 2 tenths through the lap. 1.8 when we started, now 1.4. He has gained 4 tenths. I don't know what it is about Blindevinke, but he somehow gains when you think he can't. On the medium compound tires, worn medium compound tires, still holds the fastest lap of the race. 1.3 seconds at the moment. 1.3 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. He has got to make that lunge. He has got to send it. If he's gonna go play big or go home at the moment. But I think, it's heartbreaking as it may seem, his tires have reached the operating window, and unless Ace Boy gets a penalty, makes a mistake, Ferrari engine fails, Binotto calls, something or the other, we are not gonna see Blindevinke when he is losing time.
He's losing
and
a
now
lot of time now, actually. I'm beginning to wonder if he actually might have some sort of tire issue. Because Ace Boy already pulling out a second on him, or is this just him conserving his tires now?
No, I think that he is his operating window for the soft compounded tires is finished. That's it. What was until last lap, midway through last lap, was the operating window. Now it's all about conservation. That's all he needs.
Yeah.
He just wants to bring it back home, over the line, get rid of their P2, go home, and that's it. As we do go above the onto Ace Boy for the final couple of corners of this race, his position in the race has been in doubt at many times, but he's drove brilliantly, strategy-wise, obviously driver style-wise, and just drove a brilliant race as he comes to win the Hungarian Grand Prix. Congratulations to Ace Boy and the Alfa Romeo team, or at least one side of the Alfa Romeo garage. Blindevinke comes in P2. Kurz a P3
Actually,
on the
no,
track.
P4 because of the penalties.
4.
So,
And
Snelle
Ale
Henke from
the Mercedes, who we never thought was going to get the podium, is currently on P3. Danny in P5. Alexander and Kebab, both the Ferraris in P6 and P7. P8 Sony in the Red Bull. P9 Ocean Chief after a very frustrating race still to get some points. Well done for him. Spooner in P10. Owen in P11, just outside of the points, and hopefully, could have led an Alfa Romeo 1-2, but that's motorsport for you. Flash Driver in the Alpha Tauri P12. Scortio Santia still finishing this race. You gotta hand it to them, even though they may have not scored points, they still have the resilience to still finish this race and not hit the retire button. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thems is your Hungarian Grand Prix. And the driver today goes to Tier's-Roll Danny. What do you say? I'd say so.
Well, he managed to get P5, and I think he started P13 in the grid or something, so that's definitely a great performance from him. But there's a lot of drivers there that took advantage of that early safety car and just pitted early. Kurz being one of them as well. But yeah, I really don't know. The fights Blindevinkia put on was great to watch. Especially had he managed to re-overtake for P1, he would have definitely been driver of the day for me. But yeah, I think I'm just going to go with what the game says. Danny's starting P14, finishing P5.
Not a bad thing from Danny boy, as they say. 9 positions gained, that's not too shabby at all. Not too shabby at all. So, final results. Ace Boy from Alfa Romeo Racing wins the race. Blindevinkia P2, Snelle P3, Kurz P4, Danny P5, Alexander P6, Kebab in the Ferrari P7, Sony P8, Ocean Chief P9, Spooner rounds off your points paying positions, Owen in the P11, Flash Driver in P12, Scorto in P13, Santiana in P14, Gorla in P15, Tilda in P16, Shaka in P17, and Julius in P18, and that makes up your grid, and the rest have DNF'd.
Yeah, and that was the Hungarian Grand Prix. I quite enjoyed that, to be honest. It was a bit chaotic at the start, especially in qualifying with the wet racing, and then the safety car brought up by Fropsy, swapping things around a bit, and then watching Blindevinkia trying to extend his stint to doing a soft medium, which is basically unheard of for Hungaroring, and he basically managed to pull it off, apart from his spin, which cost him dearly and put him in P2.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, that was a hell of a race. I think shall we do that again next time? Should we ask the drivers to do the same? Kind of thing. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, it was definitely very entertaining to watch, and I'm just gonna quickly. The hammer in chat, Owen must have spun. Yeah, he did. He hit the death curb, and I think he also, on the exit on the final corner, spun the car around. So unfortunate from him. But his teammate Ace Boy wins yet again. So that,
Indeed, and congratulations to all the drivers, especially the ones who ended up finishing the race. I know it was a bit painful for some people, but to keep in there, I think is a huge thing of resilience, and I think that is really, really amazing.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna have a few interviews.
Sure.
Let's see. I've been tagged in Discord. Oh, apparently not. Ghost Ping, we love them. Let's have a look. We have Ace Boy and Owen. We usually do those two together because they're both Alfa Romeo drivers. So we'll bring both of them in.
All right, sure.
Hello, the Alfa Romeo team yet again coming for an interview, and yeah, Ace Boy, congratulations on the P1. Owen, just missing out on points at the end there. Quite an unlucky race from your part, I'd say. Do you want to talk us through it?
Well, it's just dirty air around this track, really. I got blocked twice in quali, so I didn't get to do a good lap in quali. I've been practicing all day in the dry. I planned for going for P1 in a dry quali session, and got screwed over from that. So from the start of the race, it was dirty air, and then after the safety car got past Blinder, and the dirty air from Ace Boy's car sent me spinning. And then it was just the same from there. I went for the undercut and got caught behind the McLaren. So the undercut didn't work, and still in the dirty air, and just dirty air. And as soon as I got past people, as soon as I was in clear air, I don't know if you saw at the end, I gained like 7 seconds on River behind me in 2 laps, and I gained 10 seconds on Chief in 4 laps. Like as soon as I was in the clear air, I was fine. But I just didn't get any of it today.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate then. But yeah, we were mentioning in the stream that Dirty has a huge impact on on the racing here at Hungaroring. So yeah, unfortunate that you got spun twice, especially after you were trying your recovery from the first spin. That definitely made my heart sink a little bit. But Ace Boy, you got P1, went
Yes.
for the undercuts, and then suddenly there was a charging Renault behind you on soft tires. How was that?
Yeah, did not expect that strategy from Blinde. To be honest, I thought medium hard was the strat to go. Yeah, he made the strat work up until the point where he spun at the curb. So yeah, quite lucky over there. Just had to catch Curse. Just wanted to pass him as Blinde was catching up as well. Yeah, I have to say one of my best moves, to be honest, that I did on Curse. Overall, very happy. And yeah, the rain in qualifying helped me a lot as well, as that was a strong point for me. So I managed to get pole over there. If there was no rain, I would have probably been like P6 or something.
Yeah, well, you're making the best of situations that other people get caught out by, it seems, and that's the consistency you need to win the championship. Speaking of, you now extend your lead. I believe it's about around 20 points lead now or something, or is it even more?
You got 25 points today, so I'd assume it'd be more than 20.
Yeah, okay, so I was just thinking if there's someone... Okay, never mind. So yeah, you'd be like 30 points in lead or something.
Yeah, well, the championship is not won yet, so
Yeah,
there's
true.
still a big battle going on.
Yeah, but that's the second win in a row, and I'm sure you're very pleased with that.
Yeah, definitely. As this track is not really suited for pad users, I believe, so really happy to win over here.
Yeah, and sorry, go on.
I was just gonna ask if you called any favors from Bonato by any chance. You know, was that the reason why why the Renault driver spun again?
I'm not sure. Because I'm not sure. Once I saw a yellow flag over there and I saw a yellow car off track, I was really happy. And then yeah, that was just an awesome feeling, to be honest, as I thought the win was far away.
As soon as Blin came up behind him, he was like, "Oh, give him the win. I give up."
I was like, if he's on the hards, I would have fought for it. But since he was on the softs, I was like, nope, this is all gone.
Yeah. How do you feel though about that strategy going really long? Like you tried to undercut him, and you thought,
Yeah.
okay, he'll come in this lap, he'll come in this lap, he'll come in this lap. But you know, doing a Kimi Räikkönen and just keeping on going somehow, you know, kind of thing. Like, did you kind of like did your stomach sink when he came out ahead of you on soft tires, and did you realize that like, the wind's gone before he spun around, or were you just like, let's see what happens in this race? Because like a lot of drivers' attitude is like, okay, it's gone, just do what you can, you know, kind of thing. Or
Yeah,
something like
that was mostly my mentality. Just do what you can. I had to catch up. Like I had to pass like 4 cars before I got behind Curse. But then Blinde pitted and he came out behind me, but only within 1 second.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought my win was gone. The moment he set the fastest lap around lap 17, I believe, I was like, is this guy for real? Is he literally going to go to like lap 25 for softs? And then
Pronto, Cyril, C, speed, you know,
yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, pretty much. No, I completely agree with you. And it was a very well driven race from the both of you. Obviously, you had some incidents, but
managed to get through out of all of that. So well done to both of you for in terms of that. And I think looking forward to seeing you for the next race. What's your mentality going into next race then?
Next race, Belgium, my home Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that confident, to be honest.
No.
No, not really.
All right.
I've never been a big fan of my home track in the game,
Yeah.
as I've done a few laps before, but just didn't suit me. So we'll have to see.
And they'll still win.
Yeah. Shall we place the bet then? Shall we do a tattoo bet?
I'll happily place a bet. Every track I say I like, I die out and come 11th. Every track he says he doesn't like, he wins. So I'll bet a £10 bet on Ace by winning next.
I don't like that track. I'm really bad at that track. I'm probably gonna come last. Fastest lap, fastest in every qualifying session, race win by 30-second lead. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of disappointing. We were a lot slower today. Red Bulls are getting quicker. Something like that.
Yeah, to be honest, today I wasn't really feeling confident as well. But once I saw the rain in qualifying, I was quite happy, to be honest.
Yeah, so, you really come alive in the rain, don't you?
Yeah.
In that case, I have a quick question though about that specifically. What aspect really changes from the dry to the wet? Like is there something that you give a different mentality?
I mean, I'm not wrong. That is the answer to that question. Controller.
Kind of, yeah. But to be honest, before I was not really a fan of the wet. But after seeing my pace in Austria in the wets, I was feeling more confident. I was able to drive with it. So from that point on, I just gained a bit of confidence in the rain. So
do you have to be gentle with the throttle, really baby it, or did you have that
what I
confidence?
What I mostly do is just short shift more often in the rain. As I keep it I just keep it in the higher gears.
Oh, yeah. Every driver is listening to this and be like, write that down, kind of thing. So yeah, really, it was great, and hopefully for Spa, you're gonna actually give us some exciting racing, which will be good. So
right.
Please, if you can disadvantage yourself on the strategy so that we can commentate some more, that would be great. But really, thank you, boys. Really appreciate it. We had a good race today. Good. Obviously, congratulations to you, Ace Boy. It was a shame for Owen not to get any points today, but you come back strong in the next race, and hopefully we can see that Alfa Romeo 1-2 again. In that case. All right. Cool.
Yeah. Congratulations,
you guys.
And have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Shall we do Kurz then? In that case.
Yeah, let's pull him in. Hello, Kurz.
Hey.
Kurz. How's it going, man?
Good, I'm good.
So,
hell of a race.
Yeah, for
that.
At least I had a bit more luck this race.
Yeah,
good.
I think
they're coming up from 7. Very good.
All right. Right. This is the first time we're commenting together. We're a little bit trying to get the flow still. Anyways, Kurz. So yes, as Shiv mentioned, P7 doing the safety car undercut of the century, and I think had it not been for the time penalties, you would have secured that podium.
Yeah, definitely. I'm still trying to see if I can maybe get a penalty removed. I don't know if that will be possible though.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was it was a move on Sunny, but then Sunny kind of closed the door, which kind of made me have to cut the corner, which caused me to get the penalty. So
yeah, I think we caught that one on stream actually.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, so you can have a look at that. But yeah, I'd still say P4 from P7 is very strong, and you finish P3 on track, so it could be a bit of a morale boost in that case. But
it was actually PA. And
Oh,
I
it was
made
P8?
four,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and I made 4 overtakes in the first lap.
Yeah, we were mentioning in the first lap that you were the second soft runner. You just all of a sudden you were P4, and we were like, whoa, okay, he's had a really strong opening laps, and then we were
Yeah,
hoping you and Dominon could maybe fight for the win, but then he spun off very early, and then it was just a
Yeah.
one-man game for you until
Yeah.
the end.
I was like thinking in my head, I was like, because I was picking the strategy, and then there was the only strategies there were medium hard, and then I think it was medium soft. But I picked medium hard for some reason. It gave me softs, so I was really annoyed, and I was like, well, the track's cold. I have to make as many overtakes as possible into the first lap, and I managed to do that. And then luckily, who was that? Who got the it's Fropsy, wasn't it? Who got the
Yeah, it was Frosty
From
crashed.
safety car.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he got the failure, and then I was thinking the most logical thing I can do is just go hard to the end,
Yeah,
and it did work in the end, kind of.
yeah. I mean,
How on the verge? Sorry to
Go on. It's
interrupt,
fine.
but how on the verge were those hard tires for getting a puncture? Like, were you comfortable, or were you like, no, next lap, 100%, I'm gonna like spin out or something like that? You know?
I'm not gonna lie, I never looked at the percent. I just didn't really
No?
care. I thought the tires felt great, even at the end. Like I didn't ever feel like I
Tires
was gonna
are
spin.
fine.
Yeah,
No?
I'm the Sergio
Yeah.
Perez.
Sergio Perez moment right
Mhm.
here. I mean, honestly, you did amazing to go. I mean, we saw your start and we saw how you played it. If you didn't have that penalty, would have been a podium for you. But
Yeah.
definitely, what's your mentality going into next race?
Is it Spa next race?
Yeah, it is.
Spa's next race, yeah.
It's actually a track where you can actually overtake, so that's exciting. I'm not sure about my pace run there, 'cause I've done some races where I've like done quite well, but then I'm not really sure where everyone else is at. I'd have to definitely see in time trial, but I think after this race, because I'm not gonna lie, I never really practiced for any races, but this was the one race where I felt like, okay, I'll practice, and it did pay off, and I can see that. So I think if I definitely put in some time into practicing for Spa, I definitely think I can be up here again.
Yeah,
well,
definitely. And
Yeah.
if you got the penalty this time, would be good.
you
Yeah.
showed
Yeah.
good promise, so I'd like to see you try and fight for the top 3 again. It'd be good to see because you're quite a fun driver to watch when you're overtaking. So it's
Yeah.
good for the stream.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. And I mean, I guess congratulations on the P4. It's a good result, all things considered, especially
Yeah.
starting P8. So yeah, I guess you can be happy with that one.
At heart, I'll say I was P3.
Yeah, exactly.
At heart, yeah.
You can go to sleep knowing you were the top 3.
Yeah. Well, I think
Yeah.
if I wasn't, because when I picked for hard, I just felt the pace was so quick. When I was behind Gerla and Sunny, I think if I definitely didn't get stuck behind them, I think I definitely could have gapped another 5 seconds, definitely. Because
Wow.
I remember I was behind Gerla, and he was holding me up quite a bit, and then 2 laps later, I had a 2.5 second gap to him. So it was like,
Yeah. That's racing. Can't really necessarily plan for all of this to happen. You just gotta
Mhm.
take it as it comes, you know. At
Yeah.
that point, but yeah, you know, honestly, you were doing really, really well, and we enjoyed seeing you, and we were all just in awe. I mean, like, how is he still alive? You know, kind of thing. How's he maneuvering that car? You know, kind of thing.
Yeah. I kicked
Yeah,
in a new gear.
honestly. Anyways, wonderful race, and
Thank you.
hopefully we'll see you at Spa.
Yeah, I hope so as well.
Cool. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye. Alright.
All right. So goes off, or
I think, well, we missed Danny interviewing Danny last time, so I think he wants an interview, so I'll quickly pull him in. Just for a quick little interview, though, because we're running out of time now, so let's see what he's
Fine.
up to.
Yeah.
Hello, Danny.
Danny boy.
That
was
conversation.
I'm not
This is
gonna.
what we're talking about.
I'm not gonna cheat you of an interview this time. So here you go. You have the floor. Can you talk us through your race?
Well, quali was very wet, and I'm not the best in the wet, as we saw today. I'm genuinely slow around this track, so I thought P14 start, it's going to be P10 at least, and I did the same as I did last year. I start below the bottom 10 and then end in the top 6. So yeah, it's a decent race. Even though I did spin in the middle of it, so if I hadn't have spun, I'd probably be like P3, P4,
Oh,
P4, I think.
yes, something like that. Yeah, I'd say P4. P4 is pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, honestly, you drove a brilliant race, to come all the way back. Because I think you had mentioned, Kimi had mentioned that it was your first time without assists. So honestly, is that true? Or
I think that was for Sonny.
oh no,
But,
the other. Yeah.
I mean, we have Y at the end of our name each, so
Yeah, true.
get mixed up.
It could get mixed up. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's also at the start of the stream I mentioned it, so a lot happened since. But
Indeed.
still, P5 from P14, driver of the day, and good. I guess a damage control to get a good result.
Yeah.
Indeed.
It was good race for
Yeah.
Chief as well, if he didn't spin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was he was running P3 at some point, and he was looking like he was
Yeah,
solid,
he was.
a solid podium contender, but yeah, unlucky spin at the end.
Yeah, that's racing, I guess. Like you can't really plan for all this. But what's your mentality going into next race for Spa?
I think I said to Chief, double podium.
Double podium, so Haas 1-2
Double podium.
or Haas 2-3.
That's if we can get past the 2 Alfa Romeos.
All right, well,
if they don't have the best race.
Let's make some bets then. So we're gonna see a Haas double podium, or we're gonna see an Alfa Romeo 1-2. Right, I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be a spicy battle on track. So hopefully you can keep this promise up now, and we'll see that next week.
I'm looking forward to what they have to say when I go back up there.
All right, wonderful. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, and that is the end of Tier 3 at Hungarian. Great race. Thank you for joining, Shiv. It's great to commentate alongside you.
Indeed,
And,
as was with.
Yeah. Right.
Sorry, I just mumbled off. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we have each evening from now on until Saturday, we have SLR going from Tier 4 all the way to Tier 1. And then on Sunday, we have Tier 2 at 5:30, and I think it's Tier 1 at 8:30 or 8. I'm not quite sure yet. I think it's 8. But anyways, that's not the important ones. The important league race that you want to watch here on EGL is Mondays. ACC. We are going to drive at Mount Panorama next week, and looking at the way the drivers are driving, we have a few aliens that are going to be racing, and the fight will never be better because it is Mount Panorama and it's one awesome track, and you should definitely not miss out on that one, especially considering ACC this season has been absolutely mental with a lot of unexpected results. So be sure to tune in on that Monday at 7:30 p.m. Central European, Eastern European. Jesus. Central European summertime. There you go.
Yeah. European, just wake up, you'll be there. All right? Somewhat.
Exactly.
So, yeah. All right, cool. Hopefully I'll be there for commentating. I think that'll be wonderful.
Yeah. We know Timo brings out some great commentary as well, so if you'd love to hear Timo's voice on Monday.
What? Timo Glock? Timo Glock? Question?
Okay. Yeah, he is German, so I guess that counts. But anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time.
See you guys.